Parts of Maryland reopen today. The governor's stay-at-home order will be lifted at 5 p.m. Key hospitalization and ICU numbers continue trending downward. Hair salons, retail stores, car washes are all allowed to reopen, but that does not mean they will. WJZ is live. Amy Kawada explains phase one. Amy?
Good morning, Lynn. Most places around us will remain closed today. That includes Baltimore City. Meanwhile, many counties are limiting what reopens.
The simple truth is that we need more tests to safely reopen the city of Baltimore.
Baltimore's Mayor Jack Young says the city will not reopen today, despite the governor lifting the stay-at-home order. He blamed Governor Hogan for not providing enough tests.
I can't stop people from getting in their cars going anywhere. I mean, you know, that's the problem. The reason why we all should be doing the same thing.
And the city's health commissioner says people are not providing enough information to those hired to trace the contacts of people who tested positive.
Our team is reporting that some residents are choosing not to answer the call or refusing to provide the information being asked. It is necessary both for the safety of our residents and for the eventual reopening of the city that residents who've received these calls take them very seriously.
Baltimore County and Anne Arundel County are not being quite as strict. They will allow retailers to reopen, but only for curbside pickup and drop-off. Nothing in store.
If there is a significant shift in people's patterns and we think that that's a dangerous shift, then we will be ready with an executive order to do a county stay-at-home order that can be enforced.
Residents should continue to stay home when they can. They should wear masks in public spaces, and they should continue to maintain 6 feet of distance from others when they go out.
Howard County is also allowing curbside retail, limited outdoor church services, and hair salons by appointment with one customer in the store at a time. And Harford and Carroll counties are reopening today per the governor's guidelines. Frederick County is allowing stores with less than 10,000 square feet to reopen. And over in Cecil County, officials there are planning a phased-in reopening. Reporting live this morning, I'm Amy Kawada for WJZ.
Thank you, Amy. Some people in Baltimore County and city still feel it is a good idea. Leaders are not diving in too soon to phase one. Rachel Menitoff has reaction from both areas.
I think everybody is finally
Even though Governor Hogan is lifting the stay-at-home order, he says ultimately it's up to local jurisdictions to decide when to implement phase one.
It would be irresponsible for us to relax.
At a news conference Thursday, Mayor Young says the city needs to be able to conduct 2,700 COVID tests per day and that we need to see a 10% positivity decline, and we're just not there yet.
There's still a lot of fluctuation with the cases and stuff, and I feel like we still don't have a lot of answers. Everybody still needs to stay at home because if we're still outside, it's still going to spread.
I think that opening too soon would probably push us backwards.
Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski says the county is also not ready to move fully into phase one. While retail stores will be able to reopen for curbside pickup, in-person religious gatherings are not allowed. Also, until further notice, all personal services, including barbershops, nail salons, and hair salons, must remain closed.
It would be encouraging to see some progress towards reopening, because it just feels like we're in the twilight zone and we've been in here for so long.
Lisa Troya Martin is a co-owner of Cafe Troya in Towson with her mom. She says she's looking forward to the day they can offer outdoor seating and eventually limited indoor seating as the county transitions back into business.
Let's get baby steps towards where we'd like to eventually be.
Johnny Olszewski in Baltimore County says he realizes his decision to keep many establishments closed is disappointing to some, but he also says that moving too quickly would reverse the progress the county has made up until now. I'm Rachel Menitoff reporting for WJZ.
Prince George's County and Montgomery County are choosing to extend their stay-at-home orders.
This pandemic has had devastating impacts on businesses, but Ellicott City is still dealing with this crisis after 2 floods nearly washed them away. Avajari Burnett spoke with business owners there.
Springtime is usually prime time in Old Town Ellicott City, but not in 2020.
We will continue to make decisions based upon these data.
COVID-19 has left this Renaissance mill town.
We opened in May of 1999.
nearly empty as business owners and their partners,
but don't forget about our main streets,
put on a strong front that everything will be okay.
Every time something happens, they come back stronger.
Ellicott City has had practice with defeating disasters.
You hear the water a little bit right now.
Salon owner Lisa Ennis has been at it for 2 decades.
You would hear it roaring.
Listening to the signs around her.
And you could hear sirens come from every single area.
In 1999, it was a 6-alarm fire.
We noticed that there's this big black cloud up over all of Ellicott City.
2011, Tropical Storm Lee brought flooding, but then in 2016 came the big one.
From all the footage, it just looked like rolling rapids. It was horrifying.
What was supposed to be a 1,000-year flood repeated itself 2 years later.
We saw firsthand the devastation.
Now in 2020, Ellicott City is fighting a different enemy, COVID-19.
It's sad.
Corey Moe, Ennis's next-door neighbor, had to close a restaurant. He transitioned to curbside at 2 other locations to keep some staff.
There's a lot of retailers here that are still waiting for the go-ahead to do, any kind of opening. We're at least able to do that.
Go ahead and pop the trunk.
Much like after the floods, business will take time to come back under the motto, Ellicott City Strong.
We have every intention to fight hard and come back.
Avajoy Burnett for WJZ.
A popular Baltimore restaurant will close for good. The owner of Reillys, Oyster in Federal Hill made the announcement on Twitter, saying it's been real, Federal Hill. Thank you to all our friends and their memories and loyal support for 20 years. The Timonium location, though, will remain open. Experts predict as many as half the restaurants across the nation will close in the wake of the pandemic. AAA says coronavirus may cause record low travel for Memorial Day weekend. Last year, 43 million Americans traveled for the holiday. However, social distancing guidelines are still in practice, and officials recommend people stay at home and avoid non-essential travel.
6:39 now. Students at Loyola can expect to head back to campus this fall. The university says it plans to resume normal operations as much as it can in the fall, but will be ready to transition to online learning if the pandemic gets worse. Right now, there is a team working on plans to ensure that students and staff can return safely. Meantime, graduates in Anne Arundel County may not get a traditional ceremony, but their accomplishments will not go unnoticed. The superintendent there proposed 4 ways to celebrate the class of 2020. The county will hold 3 virtual events, a commencement ceremony, an awards event, and a senior salute. And then later this summer, it will host a cap and gown gala where students can take graduation photos and walk across the stage for their diploma. WJZ, of course, has everything you need to know about this pandemic. You can go to WJZ.com and look under top stories for a list of resources. Plus, the most important links are gathered under our quick links section.